I'm in property management, we've got a lot of investors and also tenants who are looking to invest. So they may not be in a position to buy in the area they want to live in, but looking to invest, and possibly for some of them it's outside of Auckland, or it's just in a different part of Auckland where, you know, they want to keep living in the areas that they'd like to live in. So what are some tips for investment property owners or looking to get money for investment property? What are the things you're finding or can recommend?
It's a huge area, this one, in the sense that it's such a hot topic, hot potato at the moment, across media, across you know, every conversation. I think it's an area the government's got wrong, in the sense that they're attacking investors and saying, you're the bad boys, you're driving up property prices, you're causing all sorts of problems in the property market, when in fact they're providing, investors are providing houses for people to live in. Otherwise they're in motels and emergency accommodation. You know, the government's not able to build enough houses to provide enough accommodation for everybody. You need to have a balanced approach. And at the moment, they're just trying to crush everyone who's trying to purchase an investment property to provide that as a rental accommodation. So in doing so, they've changed, had a conversation with Reserve Bank, and the Reserve Bank changed the loan to value ratio. So you now need 40% deposit on an existing property, in other words, to purchase it as an investment property. However, you only need 20% on a brand new property. And that's where the advantage is now. In terms of purchasing an investment property, you're best to go new. There are the tax changes that are coming in as well, or the proposed tax changes, which is literally breaking the way the tax system is supposed to work. It's a complete anomaly into how that system is supposed to be functioning. So whether it's going to make it through, I really don't know. They're still in negotiation, still in conversation. Treasury, I don't think, are very happy about it. And again, it's a complex thing. So whether they actually bring in the taking away the ability to deduct interest on an investment property, don't know. It was supposed to be in around October this year, I believe, and obviously lockdowns and the difficulty of what they're trying to achieve is not actually coming out the other side. So purchasing an investment property, I think it's still a good thing to do. Property is still a good asset to be buying into. It's something tangible you can wrap your arms around. You can see it, it's there. Unlike the share market, where you're trusting someone else with your money, pretty much, and that they're going to make good decisions and make that company grow. So again, you can use equity in your own house. If you've got a good owner-occupied property that has some good equity in it, you can take some money out of that, use that as a deposit on the next property. The banks will take some of the rental income and use that towards debt servicing. And you'll be surprised, we took our first step into investment properties 20 years ago, or over 20 years ago, and it was a scary, scary thing. To buy that first one was a big step. And once we understood the concept, we started to flow from there and actually understood that it's not a bad way to actually prepare for your future by owning multiple properties if you can. So I guess those are some thoughts. You either would go with a bank primarily if you can, otherwise we'll look to a non-bank lender. But again, with this emphasis on dumbing down the investment market and stopping investors purchasing to a large degree, even non-bank lenders are now under stricter controls than they were before. They used to be the better go-to guys if the bank wasn't prepared to look at it, but even they have had their wings clipped by outside forces to control how much they can now lend in the investment market. But I guess to summarize it all, Megan, people are still buying investment property. It's still an opportunity. Brand new property is probably the best one to go for right now, because you'll get the best tax deductibility and don't need as much deposit. Buying an existing investment property or an existing property, a few more challenges, and you'll need to be prepared to probably not make as much out of it as you might down the track. And I guess one other shout out here, when you're buying an investment property, there's a few things you need to consider. And one of them really is, and I'm not saying this just because I know what you do, but I've done this in the past. I've managed my own investment properties and made an absolute mess of it. And I now understand and put all my properties with a property manager, because I don't want that phone call at 5:30 on a Saturday when I'm about to go out for dinner or something like that. I don't want to have to be chasing the unpaid rent. And I have been in those positions where I had thousands of dollars owed to me because I was trying to help the person. And I didn't actually make the separation between, this is actually a business, and I need to treat it like a business as opposed to something else.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I echo that, but primarily because it's a business, you know, and you want a specialist on board, and that just no, I wouldn't think about doing my own mortgage financing. You know, I could just go to the bank and do it, but I wouldn't think of that. And it's just the money, obviously the time involved, the challenges, and especially in this new era. I believe we are in a new era of investment, and it's just getting specialists on board, which includes your mortgage broker, your accountant, your property manager, and a real estate agent. Really, that, you know, having a team that give you that, and what advice is just imperative to build that portfolio. And
Very true. And I guess that leads to a question: why would you use a mortgage advisor? Why would you want to have a conversation with someone like me when you could go to the bank and chat to them? And things have changed so much in finance these days. Branches are being closed with banks. They're actually pulling staff out of banks, so there's not a lot of what they call approved lenders in branches now that can actually approve lending. So yeah, you could do this yourself, but if you wanted to know what, say, ANZ were doing in Westpac and TSB, you'd have to go to each of those banks, fill out their application forms, have that same conversation, give them the same documents. Whereas with the mortgage advisor, you do it once. With us, we see all the deals all the time going through all the banks. We know where the money is. We know what's on offer. We know where the right rates are, and we'll give you more advice than a person behind the bank counter will. And we'll be with you for life. So I mean, part of our mantra at Simply Finance is we want to be your property finance partner for life. We're looking for long-term relationships, not a drop and run and see you later.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, fantastic, Jonathan. I really appreciate that, your time today to invest in us and upskilling us on that. And I'm sure if anyone's got any conversations, I will do my best to edit with a website so that they can get in touch if they want to would like to have a continued conversation about what that could look like for them. So I'll share that information with these videos and do that.
That's great, Megan. Thanks for your time.
Thanks.